Welcome to this video on how to become a cybersecurity analyst using a practical 12-week roadmap. In this session, we will focus on the core skills that help you prepare for SOC-style work: networking, Windows and Linux evidence, SIEM queries, endpoint investigation, identity and cloud monitoring, incident response, documentation, and portfolio building. The goal is not to claim that 12 weeks guarantees a job. The goal is to give you a focused structure so you know what to learn, what to practice, and what evidence to build. Cybersecurity can feel overwhelming because there are so many tools and certifications, but when you look at the daily work of an analyst, the process becomes much clearer. Before we go into the roadmap, let us first understand why cyber analyst skills matter. So, why do cyber analyst skills matter so much? The field has many tools, but the core work is practical. A cyber analyst has to understand the environment, collect evidence, analyze activity, make a decision, and then help improve the detection or response process. For example, an alert by itself does not prove that something bad happened. The analyst needs to check the user, device, IP address, process, location, time, and surrounding activity. Modern cyber analyst work also includes endpoint data, identity logs, cloud activity, SIEM alerts, and response workflows. That is why learning only one dashboard is not enough. A strong analyst learns how to connect the evidence. Now that we understand why these skills matter, let us look at what a cybersecurity analyst actually does. So, what does a cybersecurity analyst actually do? A cybersecurity analyst reviews alerts from tools such as SIEM platforms, endpoint systems, identity logs, cloud logs, network data, and email security systems. But the analyst does not simply close alerts. The analyst collects evidence from users, devices, IP addresses, files, processes, timestamps, and system logs. Then, the analyst decides whether the activity is expected, suspicious, or serious enough to escalate. For example, a suspicious login alert may require checking the user account, login location, device history, MFA status, recent activity, and business context. The analyst turns disconnected signals into an evidence-based decision. Once the job itself is clear, we can organize the learning path into a practical 12-week roadmap. Now let us walk through the 12-week roadmap overview. The first month focuses on foundations: networking, Windows, Linux, and security telemetry. These topics help you understand how systems communicate and where evidence is recorded. The second month moves into SOC tools and analysis: SIEM fundamentals, query development, endpoint evidence, identity monitoring, cloud activity, MITRE ATT&CK, and threat intelligence. The third month prepares you for operational work: Alert-triage, incident response, reporting, ticketing, basic automation, responsible AI assistance, portfolio building, and interview preparation. Think of this roadmap as a structured learning sprint. It does not replace real experience, but it helps you build practical evidence you can explain. Let us begin the first month with networking and core protocols. So why do networking and core protocols come first? You cannot defend a network or investigate an alert properly if you do not understand how systems communicate. Start with TCP/IP, IPv4 addressing, common ports, DNS, DHCP, HTTP and HTTPS, TLS, VPNs, proxies, and firewalls. You do not need to become a network engineer immediately, but you should understand what normal communication looks like and what unusual traffic may indicate. For example, a DNS request may show which domain a system tried to reach. A firewall log may show whether a connection was allowed or blocked. A VPN log may show where a user connected from. The analyst mindset is simple. Do not only read IP addresses and ports. Ask what the traffic means and whether it fits expected behavior. Once the protocols are clear, the next step is learning how to inspect packet-level evidence. Now let us look at the Packet Analysis Lab. A packet capture, often called a PCAP, allows you to see traffic evidence in detail. You can identify DNS lookups, web connections, source and destination IP addresses, protocols, successful connections, repeated attempts, and unusual destinations. A beginner-friendly exercise is to open a safe sample PCAP and apply filters for DNS, HTTP, TLS, IP addresses, or specific ports. Your job is not just to list packets. Your job is to build a short report explaining what you looked for, which filters you used, what evidence you found, what looks normal, what looks unusual, and what limitations remain. This builds the habit of evidence-based investigation. After network evidence, we need to understand what happens directly on endpoints, starting with Windows. So, what Windows security evidence should a new analyst understand? Windows systems produce important logs that can help explain who logged in, what process ran, what command was executed, which service changed, and whether a suspicious action occurred. Start with Event Viewer and learn the security, system, and application logs. Useful examples include Event ID 4624 for a successful logon, 4625 for a failed logon, and 4688 for process creation when that auditing is enabled. But remember, an event ID alone is not automatically good or bad. The meaning depends on the user, logon type, device, source address, command line, time, and surrounding activity. Sysmon can provide additional telemetry, such as process creation, network connections, and file activity. It gives you more visibility, but the analyst still has to interpret the evidence. Once Windows evidence is understood, we should also build comfort with Linux evidence. Now let us move into Linux security evidence. Many servers, cloud workloads, containers, and security tools run on Linux. A cybersecurity analyst should be comfortable with basic Linux commands and logs. Learn users and groups, file permissions, processes, services, package activity, authentication logs, syslog, shell history, scheduled jobs, and network connections. Useful commands include grep, tail, ps, ss, find, and journalctl. These commands help you search logs, review running processes, inspect network activity, and understand system behavior. For practice, create an isolated Linux virtual machine. Generate failed login attempts, create a test user, modify a file permission, start a service, and then locate the related evidence. Now that we understand network and endpoint evidence, we can bring the data into a SIEM. So, what is SIEM and log analysis in a cybersecurity analyst roadmap? A SIEM helps collect, search, correlate, and investigate security data from many sources. Examples include Wazuh, Microsoft Sentinel, Splunk, and Elastic. As a beginner, do not try to master every SIEM at the same time. Pick one lab environment and learn it deeply enough to understand events, alerts, fields, schemas, timestamps, parsing, and basic queries. A practical lab is to ingest sample authentication or endpoint logs and create searches for repeated failed logins, a successful login after failures, new user creation, administrative group changes, suspicious PowerShell activity, or unusual outbound connections. This is where raw evidence becomes searchable investigation data. Once you can search logs, the next step is learning how query logic becomes detection logic. Now, let us discuss query development and detection logic. Dashboards are useful, but a strong analyst must understand how detections are created. A detection starts with a use case, the required data source, the time window, the query logic, the threshold, and the expected result. For example, a brute force detection may look for multiple failed logins from the same source or against the same account within a defined time period, followed by a successful login. But the work does not stop there. You must also consider false positives, business context, allow lists, normal administrative activity, and tuning decisions. Indicators of compromise can help an investigation, but they should be combined with behavior, identity, endpoint evidence, and business context. After detections, we need to understand how modern investigations connect endpoint, identity, email, and cloud evidence. So, why do endpoint, identity, email, and cloud monitoring matter together? Modern attacks rarely stay inside one log source. A suspicious login may connect to an endpoint process, an email click, a cloud role change, or a SaaS application event. Endpoint evidence may include process trees, command lines, file hashes, network connections, and device timelines. Identity evidence may include successful sign-ins, failed sign-ins, MFA events, risky activity, privileged roles, service accounts, and account changes. Email evidence may include sender, recipient, links, attachments, headers, and user-reported phishing. Cloud evidence may include administrative changes, audit logs, role assignments, storage activity, workload identities, and SaaS activity. The analyst's job is to connect these sources into one clear investigation timeline. To describe attacker behavior more consistently, we need to understand MITRE ATT&CK and threat intelligence. Now let us look at MITRE ATT&CK and threat intelligence. MITRE ATT&CK helps analysts describe adversary behavior using tactics and techniques. A tactic describes the attacker's objective, such as initial access, execution, persistence, credential access, or command and control. A technique describes how that objective was attempted. The important rule is this: map behavior based on evidence, not because a tool suggested a label. Threat intelligence can also help, but indicators such as domains, hashes, or IP addresses may expire, change, or appear in legitimate activity. So analysts should consider source reliability, confidence, context, and freshness. A good portfolio exercise is to take a public incident report and map the observed behavior to attack techniques while explaining what evidence supports each mapping. Once you can interpret threat behavior, the next practical skill is alert triage. So, what does an alert triage workflow look like? Triage is the process of deciding whether an alert is likely benign, needs deeper investigation, or should be escalated as a potential incident. Start by validating the alert. Then enrich the entities involved, such as the user, device, IP address, process, file, or domain. Next, create a simple hypothesis and build a timeline around the activity. For example, an interviewer or manager might ask, how would you investigate a suspicious failed login alert? A strong answer would be, I would validate the pattern, review the user and source IP, check whether there was a successful login afterward, review MFA status, compare with normal behavior, and document whether the alert should be closed, escalated, or investigated further. Triage prepares you for the larger incident response workflow. Now let us move into the incident response workflow. Current incident response guidance should be treated as part of broader cybersecurity risk management, not just a rigid old checklist. For practical SOC training, you can still follow a clear operational workflow. First, validate the alert. Next, identify affected users, devices, and resources. Then collect and preserve evidence, build a timeline, determine scope and impact, and escalate according to procedure. If the incident is confirmed, the team may contain the activity using approved actions, coordinate remediation and recovery, document the decisions, and improve detections or playbooks. The key idea is consistency. A repeatable workflow prevents analysts from jumping to conclusions or missing important evidence. Once the workflow is clear, the next skill is writing incident reports and tickets that other people can understand. So, why are incident reporting and ticketing important for cybersecurity analysts? A good analyst does not only find technical evidence. A good analyst explains what happened in a way that security teams, IT teams, managers, and business stakeholders can understand. An incident ticket should include the alert summary, timeline, affected users or systems, evidence, scope, impact, containment actions, remediation steps, owner, status, and next actions. An executive summary should avoid unnecessary jargon and focus on business meaning. What happened, what was affected, what was done, what risk remains, and what needs approval or follow-up. This is also how analysts build trust. Clear documentation shows that the investigation was structured and evidence-based. After reporting, we can improve efficiency with basic automation and responsible AI assistance. Now let us discuss basic automation and responsible AI assistance. Automation can help with repetitive work, such as parsing CSV or JSON files, enriching an IP address, formatting an investigation note, or creating a simple workflow. PowerShell is useful for Windows environments, while Python is useful for APIs, data handling, enrichment, and report generation. AI tools can also help summarize information, draft queries, or create first-pass investigation notes, but they should only be used through approved tools, and sensitive logs or confidential data should not be pasted into unapproved public systems. Most importantly, AI output must be validated against the original evidence. The analyst remains responsible for judgment, escalation, and high-impact response decisions. Once these skills are practiced, they need to be packaged into a portfolio. So, what should go into a cybersecurity analyst portfolio package? Your portfolio should show practical work, without exaggerating your experience. If it was done in a lab, call it a lab. Do not describe it as enterprise production work. A strong package may include a network PCAP analysis, Windows event investigation, Linux log investigation, SIEM architecture diagram, query workbook, custom detection rule, ATT&CK mapping, threat intelligence assessment, alert-triage worksheet, incident report, and automation workflow. The goal is to prove your thinking process, what evidence you collected, what you analyzed, what conclusion you reached, what response you recommended, and how the detection could be improved. Portfolio evidence gives you something concrete to discuss in interviews. That leads naturally into interview preparation. Now, let us talk about interview preparation for a cybersecurity analyst role. You should be ready to explain how DNS works, the difference between an event, an alert, and an incident, and how you validate an alert before escalating it. You should also be prepared to walk through repeated failed logins, suspicious process activity, endpoint evidence, SIM queries, and incident scope. A common interview question may be, walk me through a failed login alert. A strong response would explain how you validate the alert pattern, enrich the source IP, review the user, check whether a successful login followed, inspect device or endpoint activity, and document whether the case should be closed or escalated. The best interview answers are not memorized definitions. They are clear, structured investigation explanations. Now, let us pull the full roadmap together into a final action plan. So, what is the final roadmap and next step? Start by building your foundations in networking, Windows, Linux, authentication, logs, and basic security concepts. Then learn one SIEM deeply enough to search logs, understand fields, write queries, and build simple detections. Next, practice endpoint and identity investigation. Create ATT&CK mappings, write incident reports, and build a portfolio package from your labs. Add basic automation and responsible AI assistance only after you understand the evidence. AI can help speed up some work, but it does not replace investigation judgment. The simple formula is understand, investigate, document, and improve. Start with one lab, document it carefully, and keep building. Before we close, let us quickly review the source and data integrity note behind this roadmap. Finally, let us close with a source and data integrity note. This roadmap avoids salary claims, job growth percentages, or guaranteed employment promises, because those claims require current data sets and clear methodology. The technical direction was aligned with recognized sources, such as current NIST incident response guidance, Microsoft Learn for security operations concepts, MITRE ATT&CK for adversary behavior, and tool documentation for examples such as Wazuh, Wireshark, Sysmon, Sentinel, Splunk, and Elastic. The 12-week plan is a structured learning roadmap. It is not a shortcut around practice, documentation, and continued learning. If you want structured technology training and career-focused guidance, you can explore IT Learn 360 learning paths across cybersecurity, cloud, DevOps, and automation testing. Thank you for watching this guide on becoming a cybersecurity analyst. I hope this roadmap helps you take your first practical step towards SOC and cyber analyst work.